Back at the Meadowlands, it's the Jets and the 49ers on a 66-degree afternoon. Not much wind, chance of rain later in the day. The 49ers have never lost back-to-back games under Jim Harbaugh. They finished 13-3 last season. Jets coming off an overtime win in Miami last Sunday. Jets, like the 49ers, come in with a record of 2-1. Number of key players inactive today. The former New York Giant, Brandon Jacobs, is with the club but will not play. Starting nose tackle Isaac Sobuaga is out.
Yeah, tough to lose Darrelle Revis, your best player on your team, but we talked about other areas that they're going to have to get better at today, and to have Stephen Hill and Dustin Keller out in that passing game for Mark Sanchez, those are two big losses.
49ers won the toss and will receive. Nick Folk gets things started. Taken out of the end zone by Kyle Williams. And Williams is brought down at the 20 by the Jets' leading special teams tackler last season, Nick Bellore. As Alex Smith leads the 49ers offense out onto the field. He's third in the league in completion percentage over the first 3 weeks.
And one of the reasons last week in that loss to Minnesota, Alex Smith, usually very, very good with the football, had his first interception in quite some time, had a fumble on a sack by Jared Allen, so some uncharacteristic play from Alex Smith we hadn't seen in a while.
Frank Gore, the lone back. 49ers start from the 20-yard line. Crabtree in motion. Smith looking on first down. Now he fires downfield, and there is a flag. Kyle Wilson now in the starting lineup for the Jets. In the absence of Darrelle Revis, made contact with Michael Crabtree.
There's going to be a lot of focus on Kyle Williams, but this is going to have to be a group effort.
Interference, defense, number 20.
We'll take a look on the route by Michael Crabtree. It's going to be a wheel route. You're going to come out, you're going to go to the flat, and then turn it up the field. He doesn't bite on it. He gets into good position right there. It's the arm bar. If he would have just reestablished himself instead of throwing that arm bar out, you might have got a no call from the officials, but when you kind of ride him with that bar, and then you saw Michael Crabtree kind of grab him too, but I agree with the call.
49ers gained 14 yards on the penalty, and now Frank Gore takes it across the 35-yard line for a gain of 2 as we check out the 49ers on offense.
Well, I'm interested to see what the plan of attack is for offensive coordinator Greg Roman. He's got these big guys up front. They run the ball very effectively, but everybody's talked about the fact that Darrelle Revis is going to be out this week. Are you going to try and change what you do and try and take advantage of some opportunities in the passing game?
On second down, it's Gore. Gore is stopped just shy of the 40 by Kyle Wilson. A look at the Jets defensively.
And Tony, this group right here, the guys up front really need to kind of elevate their play this afternoon.
Yeah, well, you know what? They're getting a lot of double teams from a lot of offensive lines, and they have to get off those blocks. The linebackers can help them by coming up through the hole and pulling that double team off so everybody's singled up. So they got to work together. That front seven has got to do a better job, and they got to bring some pressure like you mentioned earlier.
Third down and 5. Joe McKnight, a converted running back, is on the field for the Jets defensively. Pass is not on target. Michael Crabtree, the intended receiver, could not make the catch.
And if you're going to bring the blitz, you have to understand that Alex Smith is going to get the ball out quickly. So here's all the Jets up on the line of scrimmage. You're trying to confuse that front with their blocking. They do a good job picking everybody up. Michael Crabtree just has to make this catch.
So Andy Lee waiting back at his own 25-yard line. Jeremy Curley back deep for the Jets. Curley lets it go, and it is knocked into the end zone inadvertently by C.J. Spillman of the Niners.
That's a huge mistake right there. They're going to pin that Jets offense inside the 5 right there.
There is a flag, Goose. The officials will huddle up. Tony Correnti, our referee today.
illegal touching on the kick, kicking team number 27. Gunner went out of bounds and was the first to touch the kick inbound. 5-yard penalty will be added to the touchback. First down.
You see Kyle Williams ride C.J. Spillman out of bounds right there. Now, he cannot be the first one to touch the ball when it comes back in, so even if he had have been able to down that in the field of play, that penalty would have still been on.
Yeah, you know that by the official will go and drop his hat, meaning that that guy went out of bounds and established himself back in.
So the Jets gain 5 yards on the penalty. Bilal Powell in the backfield for the Jets as Sanchez gets rid of it quickly. Santonio Holmes had a big game last week, and Holmes gains 11. A Jets first down.
And this is one of the areas that I think this Jets defense or offense can really help out their defense. Just simple little pass plays like that. Get some efficiency going. Get some confidence for this group.
Looks like we're going to see Tebow early here, Darryl. Something that Rex talked about before the game.
Mark Sanchez split out to the right. Tebow from the shotgun. First and 10 from the 36-yard line, and it is Tebow up the middle. And he's wrapped up by Ricky Jean-Francois, starting today for the injured Isaac Sopoaga. He was injured last week in Minnesota.
Looks like they spent a little bit of time on preparing for Tebow. Those defensive linemen were looking for that run up in the middle. You know, he's more like a fullback than he is a quarterback, huh, Darryl?
Yeah, and I think that this group right here is looking forward to the opportunity to get back out and play their style of football. And one of the things we always see when we watch the 49ers play is a very sound defense. All the fundamentals done well. They were not happy with how they performed, but I think you're right, Tony. I think they are expecting a little bit more Tebow today, too.
On 2nd and 8, this is Sean Green, who did not start. We saw Bilal Powell on the first play from scrimmage. And Green takes it out to the 41 for a gain of 3. Justin Smith made the tackle, and Smith told us from a 49ers standpoint, he said, we spent more time than I thought this week working on Tebow.
Well, I think when you look at what the Jets are going to try to do, number one, Rex has always talked about having a good running game. It has struggled up until this point during the course of the season. You know, Tim Tebow is one of those elements that could help that, so some good preparation by the Niners.
Sanchez on 3rd down and 5. And a diving catch is made by Jeremy Curley for a Jets first down. There is a flag back at the 34-yard line.
Holding offense, number 74. 10-yard penalty, repeat, 3rd down.
That's on the center, Nick Mangold.
Let's go inside. Keep an eye on the center, number 74. You got a little twist going on inside, and as Nick Mangold goes to the ground, he pulls the defender down with him.
Second Jets penalty. Forcing the Jets back to the 31-yard line. 3rd down and 15. Sanchez only 51% over the first 3 games. Sanchez with time, can't find anyone. And he was close to crossing the line of scrimmage. Pass was caught in 49ers territory by Chaz Schillens. Remember, his entire body and the ball must be across the line. If there's a slight part of his body or the ball behind it, then it's okay. And it looked like it was close.
It was very close.
Very close.
That left foot coming forward.
So the Jets able to move the chains from the San Francisco 47-yard line. On 1st down, it's Green. Eight of 5 for Sean Green. Setting up 2nd down and 5.
One of the things that Tony Sperano, the offensive coordinator for the Jets, talked about was the number of yards that he felt were left on the field last week against Miami in the run game. So one of the reasons we'll see Bilal Powell a little bit today, along with Sean Green.
On 2nd and 5, it's Green again up the middle. To the 39-yard line. Ray McDonald made the tackle, so the Jets now facing a 3rd down and 2.
You see right there, it's not that they're not committing to the run. They're just not getting any productivity out of the run game. 2.8 yards per carry. And that's not going to get it done. So there's a couple of opportunities last week for Sean Green to make some good plays in the running game and made some decisions that left some yards on the field. So we'll see both of those running backs in the game this afternoon.
Powell in, 3rd down and 2. Sanchez in trouble, down he goes. Back at the 45-yard line, it's Aldon Smith.
Well, that was another area where they struggled last week in the game, was getting to the quarterback. They did not have a sack last week for the 2nd time under Jim Harbaugh. And Christian Ponder made a lot of plays with his feet, extending plays and making some throws on the run.
Aldon Smith, 14 sacks as a rookie last season. Robert Malone's punt is fair caught by Ted Ginn Jr. Making his return, missed the first 3 games with an ankle injury. When we return, Alex Smith and the Niners offense back on the field. Second offensive possession for the San Francisco 49ers. Just over 6 minutes gone by, first quarter from the Meadowlands. Niners will start from their own 8-yard line. Mario Manningham, the former New York Giant, split wide to the left. Crabtree split to the right. The handoff to Gore.
Let's go back and take a look at that punt that ended the Jets series. And Ted Ginn Jr. is going to make the fair catch. Now, you have to allow him the opportunity to catch this ball cleanly. And there's Isaiah Trufant right there. And now Ted Ginn, he wants a call too. And Jim Harbaugh was talking to the officials during break that should have been fair catch interference.
Second down and 5, it's Gore again. So the Niners committing to the run early, something they did not do last week against the Vikings.
And I think it really establishes that rhythm that they're looking for. Watch Frank Gore. Watch how well he cuts here. I mean, it's a hard cut right back into the hole. He's pressing the outside, then back inside. And, you know, one of the things that this Jets defense talked about was, you know, we faced C.J. Spiller in week 1, and we had Reggie Bush last week when we struggled against the run, and those are jump cut guys, and they talked about Frank being a more downhill guy. I don't believe in that.
Alex Smith has gone to the sidelines. Colin Kaepernick in at quarterback. Out of the shotgun, this is Kaepernick, and he's across the 30, and he is finally taken down by Jeremiah Bell after a gain of 17.
Looks like they gave a little dose of Tebow, their own medicine there.
Yeah, you know what? You would think that the Jets would be good at this because they see it. Watch how they option the end of the line. Here he comes down. He puts the defender in a tough spot. Calvin Pace doesn't know whether to take quarterback or take pitch, and Colin Kaepernick does a great job right there, the little fake.
Delaney Walker also. Look at him on the outside, following him all the way down the field. At any time, he can go and option that thing out to him, and a lot of green in front of him.
Kaepernick had a 78-yard run during the preseason. He gained 17. And now is back to the sideline, replaced by Alex Smith, who hands it off to Frank Gore. And Gore picks up another San Francisco first down. Bell the tackle. Gore gains 13.
You know, you talk about the defensive line for the Jets and needing to go and stop the run. Watch this right here. They're in good position, but they're not getting their body over into the gap. They're trying to tackle Frank Gore with your arm. You can't do that. Frank is downhill. He's low to the ground. He drives his legs. This is a guy you can't arm tackle. You have to go and move your legs and put your body in the hole to slow him down and help your linebackers out.
And Goose, it's coming back, a late flag. Holding call, so the run will be erased, and the ball is spotted back at the 26-yard line. Gore replaced by Kendall Hunter. The fullback, Bruce Miller, split wide to the right. And now the Niners empty the backfield. On first down and 20. Smith fires downfield for Manningham, and he makes the catch. That look familiar? Think back to Manningham's catch in the Super Bowl against the Patriots.
Yeah, I just like what San Francisco did on this. They showed him a run personnel group, and then they went empty backfield. And they've got the right defense on, and then you take the shot down the field to Mario Manningham on the outside. This is nice design and anticipation of how the Jets would match your personnel group.
And now, Darryl, Colin Kaepernick back in at quarterback. Smith on the sidelines. First and 10 from the 49-yard line. As Kaepernick fires downfield for Randy Moss, and it is broken up by LaRon Landry.
Well, Tony, you like to come out and keep defenses off balance, and San Francisco is doing a nice job of this right now. I think automatically you're thinking, okay, Colin Kaepernick's back in the game. Let's worry about option and all the read-keep things that he's going to do, and you go deep to Randy Moss right down the middle of the field.
I mean, both safeties in the corner, everybody's following Moss. He just threw it right into triple coverage, not even double coverage.
But you know Randy, he'll go up and get that. Good job by LaRon Landry and his guys back there not getting pulled up.
Alex Smith back in the left guard. Mike Upati has come out. He has a helmet issue, replaced by Leonard Davis. Here's Gore. Gore down to the 45-yard line, a gain of 4. Time for a game break with Kurt Menefee. Kurt?
Well, those first-place Minnesota Vikings are off to a quick start at Detroit. Percy Harvin, opening kickoff of the game. 105-yard score. He's been in the league 4 years, has returned to kick for a score in each of those years. Actually, he's got 5 in his career, and Minnesota's got a 7-3 lead. Kenny Moose goes.
Minnesota getting that momentum going early again.
Coming off their 24-13 win over the Niners last week. Bill McKnight in for the Jets. Third down and 7. Smith from the shotgun. Smith fires downfield, and it's too far for Manningham.
Kyle Wilson one more time on the outside. He's got to make sure that he goes and doesn't get tied up like he did early in the game and got that penalty. It's 5 yards now. Leave him alone. Don't be grabbing, because some officials will call that. Manningham wanted a flag right there.
Now, Kyle Wilson got beat right at the start, too, Tony. Look at him. He's a step behind Mario Manningham the whole way down the field on that fade.
Wilson already flagged earlier for pass interference. Andy Lee punting for the second time. Curley again lets it go, and it is down at the 2-yard line. So Andy Lee, a Pro Bowl punter last season. Perfect placement. No score from the Meadowlands. Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa back at the Meadowlands. Jets start from their own 3-yard line with no score, as Sanchez hands it off to Sean Green, and he gains a yard. So we've seen Tim Tebow, we've seen Colin Kaepernick in this first quarter. A bit of a surprise.
Well, we expected some Tim Tebow, but the Colin Kaepernick really has kind of surprised me here this afternoon, and not just option, which you would expect when you kind of get into that situation, but also Colin Kaepernick with the opportunity to go deep to Randy Moss.
On 2nd and 9, it's Sean Green. Straight out to the 9-yard line. Patrick Willis brought him down and lost his helmet.
That's a good tough run by Sean Green right there. Not a lot to work with, but he pushes the pile, and that's what you saw last week. You're going to have to get tough yards in the running game if you're the New York Jets. It's not going to be dialed up pretty. There's not going to be big lanes to run through. You're going to have to lower your shoulder and push the pile. Tony Sparano and his crew are going to have to get some tough physical yards today in that run game.
Third down and 4. Jets must get to the 13-yard line. Sanchez over the middle, and Holmes wasn't ready for it.
And you see this, each week from the Jets passing game. You see a little bit of out of sync in this passing game. Santonio Holmes out here on the outside. He's going to allow the clear, then he's going to come underneath, and it's got to be quicker. You got to be on the move quicker.
Malone punting from his end zone. Taken out to 37 by Ted Ginn Jr. His first return of the season. There is a flag. Ginn brought down at the 45. 54-yard punt, and we will await referee Tony Corrente's announcement.
During the return of the kick, illegal block in the back. Receiving team number 24. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Anthony Dixon says, who, me?
Yeah, him.
No score, just over 3 minutes remaining. First quarter from the Meadowlands. 49ers start from their own 32-yard line. Yes, it is Alex Smith at quarterback. Not Colin Kaepernick. Frank Gore in the backfield. Smith with time. On first down, it's Gore. And he is met by Garrett McIntyre for a gain of 5.
And you saw at the line of scrimmage, Alex Smith changed the play, and the New York Jets came out and covered up the guard, center guard area. He went to a pass. I think a lot of that was happening last week as well, the way Minnesota played him. All of a sudden, you get skewed to the passing game. They're trying to bring that back this week, establish that balance, really lean on that running game more. He's got that same look from the Jets front again. You see the guard, center guard area covered with those big bodies.
Empty backfield, second down and 5. Smith, a pump fake. Now he does a 360. Rolling to his right. And Smith will pick up a first down. Out to the 46-yard line. Time for another game break with Kurt.
Well, the undefeated Houston Texans off to a good start against Tennessee. Matt Schaub hooking up with James Casey. 11-yard score. It's 7-0 Texans. Kenny Moose and Goose. We should mention that the Titans quarterback Jake Locker out with an injured hand right now.
Thanks, Kurt. Texans one of 3 remaining undefeated teams, along with Falcons and the Cardinals. Both the 49ers and Jets at 2-1. New set of downs for San Francisco. From the 46, it's Gore. Up the middle, gain of 3.
This is one of those formations we get used to seeing from San Francisco. There's your 3 tight ends lined up to that side. You can see they've overloaded it. And the Jets are going to have to be real wary of that, because they talk about not getting into the gaps, Tony. And when you do that, you create more of those gaps. You change the fits for the linebackers.
Yeah, all of a sudden the linebackers start worrying about where those 3 tights are, and look like we're looking for that cutback to the weak side.
Now with 2 tight ends, the end around to Mario Manningham, who picks up a first down and more. Manningham is inside the 25, and he is finally tackled by David Harris. So the former New York Giant picks up 28 yards.
We were talking about triple tight end packages and bare fronts with the guard, center guard covered, but really what football is blocking and tackling. And here's an example of some poor tackling. They've got Mario Manningham right there for a short gain, and when you don't convert, you don't make those tackles, all of a sudden it becomes a big play.
From the 22, the toss to Kendall Hunter, the second-year back. And Hunter with another big gain down to the 10-yard line. 4th-round pick last year out of Oklahoma State. Hunter gains 11.
Got downhill, got his shoulders square, and again, we've got some missed tackles by the New York Jets on this play.
Man, it looks like nobody is in the right, their waist isn't bent. They're not ready to go and tackle. Everybody's standing straight up and down. You can't tackle with your knees straight.
So the first quarter comes to an end with the Jets and 49ers scoreless. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after these messages. No scores. We begin the second quarter. 1st and 10 for the 49ers from the Jets' 11-yard line.
That's Vernon Davis in motion, and they are really worried about that matchup.
Off the play fake to Gore. Smith has to throw it away. Could not find anyone downfield. And he was being chased by Bart Scott.
Vernon Davis comes across in motion, but he's going to stay in and be the blocker on this play. Alex Smith gets to the outside. Bart Scott, a good decision. Comes off his guy in coverage and forces the throw.
Crabtree and Moss to the sidelines. Vernon Davis split wide to the right. Manningham to the left. Kyle Williams in motion. Smith on 2nd down with the toss to Kyle Williams. And Williams on the option takes it down to the 2.
Everybody's running the option nowadays.
I tell you what, it's a good thing I'm not playing defense for the Jets, because I'd be so confused right now. Alex Smith does a good job pressing that. He comes all the way to Calvin Pace, makes him declare what he's going to do. Do you have quarterback? Do you have pitch? I mean, a lot of times when that option doesn't work, the quarterback pitches it too late. And that was a nice job by Alex Smith taking it right up to Calvin Pace.
Now the Niners send in 2 big bodies. There's number 92, Will Tukafu. Leonard Davis in as well. 3rd down and 1, but there is a flag.
It's like Delaney Walker.
False start. Offense, number 46. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
It's so hard when you're the outside guy in the short yardage and goal line formation to see Delaney Walker on the end there, because you can't really hear the count all that well. And then all of a sudden you're trying to get off a little bit early, and Delaney Walker jumped it.
And now Colin Kaepernick has returned. Alex Smith to the sideline. 3rd down and 6. Kaepernick out of the shotgun. Kaepernick is inside the 5, and he is in for the touchdown.
I tell you, you come out into your huddle, you've got Colin Kaepernick there, so now you start thinking about that way. But you look at personnel, and it should be traditional short yardage goal line. And they get everybody to that left side. There's Big Joe Staley pulling out as your tackle, and they just cleared a path for Colin Kaepernick.
Tell you what, those offensive linemen, man, they get out there quick. Joe Staley, he was running like a tight end.
So for Colin Kaepernick, it's his first NFL touchdown in college at Nevada, guys. He threw 82 touchdown passes, and he ran for 59 touchdowns. This is first as a pro. 7-0 Niners. A surprising approach by the San Francisco 49ers with their use of Colin Kaepernick.
Well, you heard Rex Ryan tell Tony Siragusa at the top that we may be a little bit more aggressive today because we don't have Darrelle Revis. I wonder if this offensive game plan with some of this option and some of these other things to really challenge those rules is the reason that Greg Roman has gone to so many different styles of offense this afternoon.
Jets will start from their own 20-yard line. Congratulations from his head coach following his first NFL score. 49ers lead the Jets 7-0. Third possession for the Jets. They ran only 10 plays in the first quarter, punted twice. Off the fake to Powell. Sanchez dumps it off to the fullback, but John Connor unable to make the catch.
That's a tough matchup. Anybody against Patrick Willis. That's some tight coverage right there.
Tim Tebow back in for the Jets.
Never established control through the process of the catch.
Both Sanchez and Tebow on the field. Tebow lined up in the backfield. Play clock at 1. Jets get the snap away in time. And the slant is caught out of the 30-yard line by the former Raider, Chaz Schilens. Stopped just shy of a Jets first down.
Tim Tebow did a nice job. Looked like a fullback back there. Moose, watch how he goes across Sanchez's face. Throws a nice little block.
That's real nice.
Yeah.
Getting Aldon Smith's hands down. You give him a little pat on the backside. He's going to catch some heat. He's going to catch some heat in the film room on Monday. Is that a quarterback that took you down, Aldon?
He definitely is.
What is it? Now on 3rd and 1.
Just the difference in those two defensive line. If you look at San Francisco and the way that when they have 4 guys on the line of scrimmage, their pass rush, and then when they know it's going to be run, how they build the wall and they shed guys and make tackles. You don't see them just tackling with their arms like we're seeing the Jets.
You've got different style players there, though, Tony. I mean, Justin Smith is one of the best in the NFL, inside and outside. Aldon Smith is really, really coming along in his second year, and this is without Isaac Sopoaga in there.
Tebow on the field once again. In the backfield with Sanchez. Tebow throws another block, and the pass is caught by Santonio Holmes. Holmes out to the 36-yard line. That time, Tebow with a block on Ahmad Brooks.
Well, now Aldon Smith's got company because he comes across the formation and gets Ahmad Brooks. Gets his hands down. Staying efficient against this 49er defense is critical, and the Jets on this drive are starting to hit a rhythm, starting to get positive plays on each snap.
Yellow 30. Tebow to the sideline, 2nd down and 4. Powell in the backfield. Bilal Powell. Powell with a nice push, and that is forced back. Stop just shy of the marker.
Tim Tebow, we've talked about him getting his biggest opportunity this afternoon. You know, you see what he's done so far this year. Now, week 1, they really didn't need him. You know, that was a nice game by the Jets. Offense, defense, special teams, everybody playing well. You know, week 2, you know, Mark Sanchez got into a good rhythm, and they kind of stayed with it. And, you know, we'll see right here. There's Tim Tebow going to the wristband. So Sanchez is out on the sideline this time.
Tebow takes the snap on 3rd down and 1. He throws, and the pass was intended for the tight end Epps, but he lost the football, and it is Carlos Rogers who comes up with it for the 49ers. That is the first pass thrown by Tim Tebow as a New York Jet.
Tough to defend. I mean, you're thinking hard play action with Tim Tebow. It's the old jump pass we've seen him do at the University of Florida. As he comes up, linebackers come up, dumps it off. Big hit by Deshaun Golson to jar that ball loose.
The last play before we went to break was ruled a catch. First career reception for Dedrick Epps. Ruled a turnover. All turnovers automatically reviewed. Here's Tony Correnti.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is confirmed. The receiver did catch the ball and subsequently fumbled. It was San Francisco's ball. First down.
Mike Pereira, our rules analyst, joins us from Los Angeles. Mike, do you agree that this was a completed pass, a reception by Epps? Did he do enough for it to be ruled a reception before he coughed it up?
You know, I really don't think so, Kenny. I mean, he's airborne. He's got to get both feet down. The contact comes almost simultaneously with the second foot hitting. To me, there's no time to perform an act common to the game after getting both feet down.
All right, thanks, Mike. So the 49ers take over as the call on the field was confirmed, and Smith's pass is caught by Bruce Miller at the 39-yard line for a gain of 8. So how about that? Tebow throws his first pass to the Jet. It's the first career reception by Epps. And then he coughs it up. And to add injury to insult, Epps being tended to on the sideline.
And we just hope that he's okay. You saw his leg hyperextend on the back of the knee, so hopefully Dedrick Epps is going to be okay. That's the number one concern right now. Now this Jets defense, you know, you have to rally. You have to come out and make a stop on sudden change.
Hunter in the backfield, Manningham in motion, 2nd and 1. Play action. Smith to the near side, and Manningham with Wilson all over him. Manningham able to make the catch for a 49ers first down.
I think more and more chemistry built each week. Mario Manningham in motion. Again, it's that little wheel route, the out, up, and then they're going to come out of it on the comeback. That takes a while for Alex Smith and Mario Manningham to build that rapport to throw that route effectively.
Second catch for Manningham, also had a 28-yard run. 49ers lead 7-0. From the Jets 29, Smith calls timeout with the play clock winding down. 9:17 remaining, second quarter. 49ers lead by 7.
Well, we're going to have some back and forth here between Alex Smith and the 49er offense and that Jets defense. Rex Ryan wants to get bigger bodies in to stop this running game. That last play, he had 4 defensive linemen in during the course of the timeout. They shifted it and gone back to 3. So this is going to be cat and mouse all afternoon.
Following the timeout from the 29-yard line, this is Gore. And Gore gains a couple. Niners in this first half, Darrell, have rushed for over 100 yards, and that's been a huge problem, the run defense for the Jets in 2 of their first 3 games.
And we're getting it a lot of different ways. It's not just turning around and handing the ball off to Frank Gore or Kendall Hunter. You know, they're coming out. We've seen Colin Kaepernick. We've seen some option. We've seen the end arounds. And here's the struggles. You look at those 2 games against Buffalo and Miami. Against Pittsburgh, they played well, you know, so they can do it when they're focused and their gaps sound and they're hustling and they keep their pad level down.
Smith on 2nd and 9 after the pump fake. Down he goes back at the 33-yard line. Brian Thomas, who was released by the Jets prior to their game last week and then re-signed after the win in Miami. Thomas with the sack.
Well, Brian Thomas needs to go and thank everybody in the back end because this is one of those coverage sacks. You'll hear Alex Smith has nowhere to go with the ball. That gives Brian Thomas that extra time to get to the quarterback.
And that was the first time you see Sione and Mike DeVito get a little bit of push up in the quarterback's face. That's going to go and help your defensive ends because the quarterback's not able to step up in the pocket, and then they can get more pressure on him.
First sack for the Jets today, 3rd down and 13. Smith looked right, he looked left. Down he goes. Back at the 38-yard line. This time it is Calvin Pace. Smith sacked on back-to-back plays. First Thomas, now Pace.
Calvin Pace does a nice job to see the pass rush right there. All of a sudden he goes, he uses another one of his own teammate's body to pick the guy that's on him, and he comes down the line of scrimmage, finds a hole, gets up there and gets on Alex Smith.
So now the 49ers send out the field goal unit. A 55-yard attempt. David Akers hit from 63 earlier this season, tying the league record. Andy Lee, the holder, has had problems with his right hand. Lee places it down. Akers from 55 yards out. It is no good. So the Jets defense comes up big with a pair of sacks. And then Akers from 55. This 55-yard field goal attempt by David Akers. Score remains 7-0 Niners. Fox Sports is proud to partner with the Children's Organ Transplant Association during our NFL on Fox coverage. COTA is giving hope and making miracles for families whose children are facing transplants. To help change a child's life, please visit COTA.org/Fox Sports. Tebow takes the snap. And the inside handoff to Sean Green, who gains 5 out to midfield.
We'll go back and take a look at that field goal. I want you to see the follow-through on David Akers. Watch where he's pointed when he finishes this kick. He's pointed out to the right, kind of lined up on that goalpost to the right side. Tony, you said he struggled the whole pregame.
All pregame he was out there. They were trying to get different holders and try different things, but his timing was not on at all, and he missed everything to the right, going the way he kicked now and also the other direction.
He had a kick blocked last week in Minnesota down to the 46-yard line. It is Green, a yard shy of a first down.
Well, you know, special teams helped put the Jets in the hole in the first quarter, you know, pinning them back deep in their own end with Andy Lee. But on that miss by David Akers, it gives them good field position. So we'll see what they can do with this. San Francisco at one point had 2nd and 9 at the 28. 2 big sacks by that Jets defense to force that long field goal attempt. This offense has got to follow it up right here with a good drive, good possession.
With Tebow on for Sanchez. And with the play clock winding down, Jets forced to use their first timeout. So a 3rd down and 1 for Rex Ryan's Jets when we return. Welcome back. Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa. 6:12 remaining second quarter. 49ers lead 7-0. Tebow back to the sidelines. Sanchez in on 3rd down and 1.
Starting to drizzle a little bit out here down on the field. I know you guys would never know that, so I wanted to fill you in.
Got that umbrella ready, Tony. Sanchez on 3rd and 1, and he is sacked back at the 47-yard line by Ahmad Brooks.
Yeah, but watch Ray McDonald. Ray McDonald was the one who got off to the great start. He is right on cadence. I mean, he is upfield immediately against Matt Slauson. Just collapses that inside. That gives Ahmad Brooks the opportunity to loop around.
Second sack of the season for Brooks. Malone will punt for the 3rd time. Terrific kick. Fair catch at the 10-yard line by Ted Ginn Jr. Well, the 49ers did not go home after last week's game. They left Friday the 21st from San Jose. Lost to the Vikings last Sunday, and then it was on to Youngstown, Ohio for the week.
Kind of using the same theory that they did last year when they played Cincinnati and then played Philadelphia in weeks 3 and 4. Obviously didn't start off the way they would have liked last week against Minnesota, but that is a long, long road trip. And, you know, talking to some of the guys, they said, yeah, I know what the theory is, but you know what? I'm still on West Coast time. It is early Sunday morning right now.
Youngstown, the hometown of their ownership group, the Yorks, the Barbalos. And they travel to New Jersey on Friday. Here's Gore, found a hole. Hard to bring him down. Gore gains 5 out to the 16.
This is why I didn't agree with them, Tony, when they said, you know, we don't have to anticipate a guy like C.J. Spiller or Reggie Bush. Oh, yeah? There's some nice jump cuts.
Right, yeah, he does a nice job of cutting back. That's 3 holes that he cut back right there. You know, Frank Gore goes, he doesn't see a hole, he cuts back a little bit, but he does a great job of moving laterally down the line of scrimmage and then keep his legs moving forward and getting that extra yardage.
49ers all-time leading rusher. It is Gore again, this time up the middle. No jump cuts needed that time, and Gore picks up a San Francisco first down.
You know, when you look at this offensive line, they are putting some huge holes up there for Frank Gore. He's just piling up those yards. There he is right there, 8 rushes, 29 yards.
And as you see, Goose, Colin Kaepernick is back in. He has the game's only touchdown.
And the big thing was on the bottom of that chart right there, 19 yards after the catch. That's called hitting yardage. You do not want that. You want that number as low as possible as a defensive lineman. That means when he hits a defender, he's driving his legs and he's getting extra yards. You don't want that to happen.
Well, no problems this time for Quentin Coples. He's able to bring Gore down. Coples, the Jets' first-round pick out of North Carolina. No extra yardage for Gore on first down. Alex Smith back in the game. Kendall Hunter replaces Gore.
I don't know. I'd keep that kid back in, that Coples. Looks like he was fired up there, made a nice tackle.
And now the play blown dead.
Timeout. New York Jets.
Jets use their second timeout. .345 remaining. Second quarter here at the Meadowlands, with the Niners leading by 7. Fox tonight, animation domination returns with a night of epic season premieres. The Simpsons hit New York with new girl Zooey Deschanel. Then after Bob's Burgers, Family Guy conquers Mount Everest, followed by American Dad. It's Animation Domination season premiere Sunday on the only place for new episodes, Fox.
What is that, 22 years now for The Simpsons?
3 years longer than the NFL on Fox.
Yeah.
Now in our 19th season. Second down and 11 following the Jets timeout. Smith rolling to his right, looking left. Now throws right. And the catch is made by Michael Crabtree, but Bart Scott was right there to wrap him up after a gain of 3.
Yeah, this is well done by the Jets defense because you're moving the pocket. You're going to get Alex Smith on kind of a short dash out to the right, but you want to do a throwback screen to the left. And the Jets defended it very, very well.
I'll tell you what, people talk about Bart Scott, oh, he lost a step. I don't see any step he lost. He's out there. He's all over the field. He's got great vision. He's helping with the run. He's outside doing, covering people. Bart Scott is still playing at a very, very high level.
Bothered by a toe injury this week. 3rd down and 8. Smith firing downfield for Crabtree, and he's unable to make the connection with Kyle Wilson on the coverage, and there is a flag back at the 24-yard line.
Kyle Wilson gets lucky here. Yeah, he gets beat right at the start again. He's late getting on that turn.
To the play. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 76 on the offense. It is a dead ball foul, therefore the down counts. 4th down, the penalty reinforced half the distance to the goal.
Now the personal foul is called on the right tackle out of Rutgers, and he grew up in Piscataway, New Jersey. Anthony Davis, high school teammate of the Jets, Kyle Wilson. So Davis is flagged, and this will force the 49ers back prior to the punt.
Well, that's the risk you run. When you bring pressure and you're going to blitz the quarterback, you're going man coverage across the board, and right now, Kyle Wilson, lucky on that play that it was overthrown because Michael Crabtree had a step and a half on him.
And lucky that his high school teammate committed the penalty. Andy Lee angles this one towards the sideline.
That's a rarity right there. Andy Lee, excellent punter.
Sets up terrific field position for the Jets with 2:49 remaining. Well, baseball's regular season is coming to an end this week. The National League's best teams will look to their brightest stars to make the next unforgettable play that will lead them to the NLCS and move them one step closer to the World Series. Legends are born in October, and our exclusive coverage of baseball's postseason begins Sunday, October 14th, with Game 1 of the National League Championship Series only on Fox. Jets start from the San Francisco 47. Sanchez over the middle on 1st down. The catch is made by Curley. Bounces off the initial tackle attempt, and then is brought down after losing a couple at the 43-yard line. Gain of just 4.
Losing a couple. Now he gets knocked back halfway from all the yards he gained. This is a nice job with the concentration and finishing the catch.
And caught it at the 38 and then lost 5.
Oh, that shows you Dante Whitner.
Didn't know what direction he was running, I don't think.
Impressed that, he held on to that. Great timing on the hit.
2nd down and 6 as we approach the 2-minute warning. Jets have 1 timeout remaining. Sanchez moving to his left on 2nd down. Now he throws, and a diving attempt at the interception. There's a flag. A lot going on this play. Holmes, the intended receiver. Whitner with the diving attempt after the deflection, and a penalty marker as well.
Well, the defensive player has just as much right to compete for that ball as the offensive player. Santonio Holmes coming out of the slot.
There is no foul for a hit to a defenseless receiver. It's an incomplete pass. It'll be 3rd down.
I think that's a good call because he went after the ball. He didn't go after the receiver. Yes, they hit helmets.
I agree, Tony. It's great picking that flag up. You throw it, and then you get together with everybody else, and you make the decision. You know what? That's not what I saw. You get it cleared up.
quickly, too, right?
So the flags picked up after the hit by Goldson on Holmes. 3rd down and 6 from the 43 as the Jets empty the backfield. Sanchez on 3rd down, and Patrick Turner thought about running before he made the catch. There is a flag. Late flag at the end of the play.
We had Jason Smith downfield. Have to see who gets the call on this one. He and Aldon Smith.
At the conclusion of the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense number 99. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So Jason Smith wins the battle of the Smiths as Aldon Smith is flagged. So this will extend the Jets' drive. Jim Harbaugh not very happy. 2-minute warning, 7-0 Niners. Jets catch a break instead of punting. The personal foul committed by Aldon Smith. Jets gain 15 yards and a first down. They have 1 timeout remaining, 1:57 on the clock from the San Francisco 28-yard line. Sanchez, the late handoff to Bilal Powell, tries to cut it back inside, and then is wrapped up by Navarro Bowman. Gain of 3.
It's a quarterback-driven lead, so let's check in on how the quarterbacks are doing up until this point. Look at that, Kenny. Identical. Can't script that.
Synchronized passing.
It's been an interesting offensive display here in the first half. A lot of different things being shown by both these teams.
2nd down and 7. Sanchez sets, throws, pass was deflected by the birthday boy, Justin Smith, celebrating his 33rd birthday today. The 3-time Pro Bowler getting a hand on it.
Coming from inside, just pushing that pile back, slides a little bit. Great job with his eyes on the quarterback and getting into the throwing lane of Sanchez and then getting that hand up, knocking it away.
3rd down and 7. Jets must get to the 18 for a first down. Sanchez eludes Brooks, and now he's down. Ball came loose. And it is recovered by the Niners.
If you're going to scramble against this 49er defense, you've got to secure the ball. Mark Sanchez got lucky on the first hit, and then it was the follow-up hit. Right there, Ahmad Brooks has him. Aldon Smith's coming from behind.
Aldon Smith the sack. Justin Smith the recovery. 2nd Jets turnover.
Still the biggest indicator every Sunday that contributes to who's winning and who's losing football games is the turnover battle.
And the Jets were in field goal range following the 15-yard penalty, but Sanchez coughs it up for the first time this season. He lost 8 fumbles last year. Now Alex Smith and the Niners back to work with a 7-0 lead, and the catch is made. His first of the game. It's Vernon Davis out to the 49-yard line, a 23-yard pass play.
And this is the matchup issue that Rex Ryan was worried about. 85, the clean release off the line of scrimmage. LaRon Landry, the safety. But Vernon Davis has unique speed. That's how he creates the matchup problem. And during the course of this first half, we've seen Antonio Cromartie on Vernon Davis when he's opened up the formation. I mean, if he's the Darrelle Revis role, that's who the defense feels is the biggest threat. That's how much respect they have.
3 receivers set from the 49. There is a flag coming from the secondary as the catch is made for a gain of 6 by Michael Crabtree. And now Tony Corrente will ask Jim Harbaugh if he wants to accept the penalty or take the result of the play.
Down here at the bottom of your screen.
Cromartie on Manningham.
Marty thought it was on Manningham. It wasn't a lot, but you can't put your hands in the guy's face like that.
New set of downs for the Niners from the 46. Smith, the shovel pass to Gore. And Frank Gore, what a second effort as he eluded a couple of tackles. And it stopped about a yard and a half shy of the marker. Niners have 2 timeouts remaining as the clock winds down in this second quarter. Down to 35 seconds. Smith complete to Davis. And Davis is knocked out of bounds by Ellis Lankster. With 31 seconds on the clock. Let's go. 49ers lead 7-0, trying to capitalize on the second Jets turnover. San Francisco with 31 seconds and 2 timeouts. Three wide receivers set plus the tight end Davis. From the 33, Smith fires and it's caught by Michael Crabtree. And now the 49ers will use their second timeout. What's coming up on the Visa halftime report, Kurt Menefee?
Coming up on the Visa halftime, we'll have highlights from a busy day in the NFL, including the undefeated Texans having no problem against the Titans, the Chiefs being brought back to reality by the Chargers, and the Patriots trying to get back to 500. It's all on the Visa halftime. So, boys, come on, get back to work.
All right, thank you very much, Kurt. 23 seconds remaining here at the Meadowlands, second quarter. Niners lead 7-0. They are in field goal range. As you see on our Fox box, upper left-hand corner, San Francisco with 1 timeout remaining. First and 10 from the Jets' 21-yard line. Smith on the option. And he is tripped up as he crosses the 20-yard line by Aaron Mabin. Clock continues to run.
That's an interesting play call right there.
Yeah, why not take a shot to the end zone, right?
Well, you know, the big thing is Alex Smith has got to be a little bit more athletic and get up over the guys on the ground so he has the opportunity to get out of bounds. The play call's not all that bad because you're at least putting the quarterback into the short side of the field with a chance to get out of bounds. But
and then the Niners let the clock run all the way down instead of using their final timeout, taking one more shot to the end zone.
Interesting.
So Jim Harbaugh sends out the field goal unit. David Akers missed from 55 yards out earlier.
Well, much better this week than last week for this San Francisco 49er offense. Not a whole lot of points to show for the yards.
This will be a 36-yard attempt. Lee will place it down at the left hash. For the 6-time Pro Bowl kicker, David Akers, and this time it is straight through. So Akers connects from 36. 49ers will take a 10-0 lead into the locker room at halftime over the New York Jets. 49ers surprising the Jets by using Colin Kaepernick on selected plays, the backup quarterback, and he ran one in from 7 yards out. Has Rex Ryan shaking his head. 49ers playing their second consecutive road game. They did not go home in between. San Francisco leads by the score of 10-0.
Interesting first half offensively for the 49ers. A lot of things that we would not expect. As you pointed out, Colin Kaepernick coming in and getting some snaps, and he ends up with the only touchdown here in the first half. They get him in a wildcat look by the 49ers for shotgun run, and they collapse everything down to the inside. And I understand, you look at it from the point that Rex Ryan's going to throw a lot of different things at us, and Greg Roman is going to match that with some formation, some personnel, and then obviously a new look on this offense with Colin Kaepernick. He ran an option, took a big shot down the field to Randy Moss on one play, and scored the only touchdown here in the first half on that run.
His first NFL touchdown. Jets turned the ball over twice, and their second miscue leads to the David Akers field goal moments ago.
Not only the field goal attempt and conversion by the San Francisco 49ers, but they lost their field goal attempt on that fumble, which could have been a 7-3 halftime lead for San Francisco, now becomes 10-0.
So a 6-point swing. The Visa halftime report with Kurt and the gang is coming up next. 49ers 10, Jets nothing as we get set for the third quarter. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. David Akers will kick off to begin this second half. Akers connecting on a 36-yard field goal as time expired in the second quarter, extending the San Francisco lead to 10-0. Joe McKnight back deep for the Jets. McKnight from about 7 yards deep. So the Jets will start from the 20-yard line after they were shut out in the first half and trailed 10-0. We spoke in the open about playing without Darrelle Revis for the first time. Your thoughts on the Jets, both offensively and defensively?
Well, I think the defense has done their job. They came into the game today 31st in the league with only 3 sacks. They've got 2 in the first half. And then on third down defense, they've played well. 1 of 5 for San Francisco. They're last in the league in third down defense. It's on the other side of the ball. Offensively, Mark Sanchez has not been efficient. They've had 2 turnovers. They've got to do their job on the offensive side of the ball. I agree with what Howie talked about at halftime. How long can that Jet defense stay on the field?
Sean Green gains 3 on first down as we check out the first half numbers. Niners rushing for over 100 yards. Jets committing the only turnovers of the game so far.
And a lot of different ways to get those 119 rushing yards for the San Francisco 49ers. And maybe the biggest surprise was the contribution of Colin Kaepernick there in the first half.
6 different 49ers carried the football, including Kaepernick, who has scored the game's only touchdown. Sanchez on 2nd and 8. The catch is made by the tight end, Jeff Cumberland. Good second effort, and Cumberland looks to have a first down.
Hey, Moose, you're absolutely right. Talk to Rex at halftime. He said, we got to offensively and defensively take some more chances. Kaepernick, when he's in there, they're hurting us with some of the splits. We'll correct that. But offensively, first and second down, we're doing an okay job. Third down, we got to move the chains. That's something that we really have to focus on. So look for that here in the second half.
I think that was the big thing for the 49ers last week in that loss to the Vikings. Defensively, they could not get off the field.
From the 32, play action. Sanchez throws, and it's Chaz Schillens who picks up another Jets first down out at the 45-yard line. Jets without a couple of offensive weapons today. Stephen Hill, their second-round draft pick out of Georgia Tech, and tight end Dustin Keller missing his 3rd consecutive game. Dustin became a father for the first time last night as his wife gave birth to a baby boy named Cruz. You don't think he is named after Victor Cruz of the Giants?
I would say no. I would say no on that one.
Well, congratulations to the Keller family, but Dustin missing his 3rd consecutive game. Sanchez off his back foot, had it deflected, and then it's picked off by Patrick Willis. It is the 3rd Jets turnover.
That's a shame. They had it set up so well, too. They brought all the 49ers in. Mark Sanchez just has to make sure he's got a clean throwing lane to the screen element. Keep your eye on, that's Navarro Bowman. Go to the other side. Patrick Willis on the blitz.
If they get that ball to Sean Green on the outside, he might still be running.
Well, they did the cross blitz inside, Tony, so you had Navarro Bowman and Patrick Willis pulled all the way up inside. If Mark Sanchez can just get a clean throwing lane out onto that screen, that's going to go for a long ways.
So Ray McDonald got a hand on it, and then Patrick Willis, who has gone to the last 5 Pro Bowls. Willis with his 6th career interception. Best starting field position of the day for San Francisco from the Jets 41. It's Kendall Hunter on first down. Hunter with a cut to the outside, and he picks up a Niners first down, finally tackled by LaRon Landry after a gain of 12.
Kendall Hunter does a great job. Really, there's not a lot there. They run this off tackle, but Kendall Hunter, if you watch, he goes and he's patient. He stays in the crease, gets through the crease, and then explodes upfield to go and get that yardage. Here it is from Skycam. Right here. He goes. There's nothing really there. He keeps going. Something's eventually going to open up. His offensive line does a great job. Joe Staley does a nice job with that block.
Now it's Gore up the middle. Gore forcing his way down to the 25-yard line as the Niners look to capitalize on the Jets' 3rd turnover, the Willis interception. You talk about the turnovers, Darryl. The 49ers were plus 28 last season. Uncharacteristic. They turned it over 3 times last week, but today Jim Harbaugh's team a plus 3.
Yeah, and that was the most surprising thing to me last week with the 49ers were the turnovers. They have been so good under Jim Harbaugh at protecting the ball and taking it away.
Second down and 6. It's Frank Gore. Gore turns the corner, gains a couple. Time for another game break to Los Angeles and Patrick O'Neill. Patrick?
All right, Kenny, special teams for the Vikings getting the job done versus the Lions. Emphasis on special. Marcus Sherrill's 77-yard TD return off of the punt. Vikings started the game with a kickoff return from Percy Harvin. They lead the Lions. Vikings up on Detroit 20-6. Kenny Moose and Goose.
Marcus Sherrills with a big return for Vikings, who beat these Niners last week, looking to raise their record to 3-1.
How about that? 2 special teams touchdowns for the Minnesota Vikings today against the Lions.
3rd down and 3. Smith's pass is intended for Delaney Walker. Fouled it, then tried on the second effort, but could not make the catch. So here comes David Akers and the field goal unit once again.
Defense doing a pretty good job.
Antonio Cromartie really made that play, Tony.
Yep.
With the disruption of the timing on Michael Crabtree, it forced Delaney Walker to really lose some ground and disrupted that whole play. So he's not going to get a whole lot of credit, but that jam on Michael Crabtree disrupted that whole play.
Akers missed from 55, hit from 36. This a 40-yard attempt from the left hash. And Akers' kick is no good.
He hooked it again, Darryl.
Hooked it to the right. So Akers just 1 for 3. The 49ers unable to capitalize on the 3rd Jets turnover. Their lead remains 10-0. Back at the Meadowlands, 49ers lead the Jets 10-0 following the second David Akers missed field goal of the day. Jets start from the 30-yard line as Sean Green takes it out to the 33. For a gain of 3, Ahmad Brooks made the tackle. Jets have turned the ball over on their last 2 possessions, 3 of the last 4. There's Akers, the 6-time Pro Bowler, shaking his head after his second miss today.
Yeah, he is not happy at all. And as Tony pointed out, pregame, he was really struggling at both ends of the field, pulling it to that side. So both his misses, he was doing the same thing in pregame.
Split backs now, Green and Powell on 2nd and 7. Sanchez over the middle, and it is Navarro Bowman who nearly comes up with the interception. Pass intended for Jeff Cumberland.
Really surprised he threw this ball, Darryl. I'll tell you what, Bowman was all over in coverage. He is right on Cumberland.
I don't even know what he's thinking to make that throw, Tony. It's not on the back shoulder.
And also, you have the safety over the top. Look at where the safety is. Right there. Boom. Not a good decision by Mark Sanchez on that particular throw.
He got away with one there, for sure.
Bowman can't believe he dropped it. 3rd down and 7. Jets must get to the 40 for a first down. Sanchez to the outside. Pass intended for Santonio Holmes as the boos rain down here at the Meadowlands.
Well, that offensive line is giving Mark Sanchez plenty of time to look downfield. He doesn't need to rush any of these throws that we're seeing. He's just not on time with his receivers right now.
Not even on time, but not in the right area. I mean, that one has a shot to be completed.
Ted Ginn takes it on the run. Good field position for the 49ers, who lead the Jets by 10. 49ers leading the Jets 10-0. Early 3rd quarter. San Francisco starts from their own 40-yard line. Smith looking to throw on first down. He has time, and he lays it out for Delanie Walker, who came down out of bounds.
Hey, this is pretty simple. This is not even a box count, but we're just going to the D-line count, Tony. You know, we're just going to come out. We're going to see how many we got. Okay, you're going to go with 4 guys. So I'm going to audible out, and I'm going to take a pass down the field. And that's what Delanie Walker brings to the table with his athletic ability. I think he's very underrated in what he does for this offense. He can line up in the backfield. He can line up split outside wide. He's your wing on your tight end. He can play on the line as a tight end. He allows you these matchup issues and challenging the Jets to match personnel.
Causes mismatches for the defense. 2nd and 10. Smith, the slant. It's Walker. Gain of 6.
Very underrated player in this offense. We focus on Vernon Davis, and we talk about Frank Gore and how important he is, and Michael Crabtree and how well he's playing this season. But I really have become a Delanie Walker fan over the last couple of years and everything that he does for this offense.
He does a lot, too. That guy is very versatile.
'49ers facing a 3rd down and 4. They must get to midfield for a first down. Inside handoff, and it's Kendall Hunter who picks up a San Francisco first down. LaRon Landry finally brought him down after a gain of 8. The 49ers continue to pound away at the Jets. They've now gained 146 yards on the ground against Rex Ryan's defense.
Well, the Jets defense in that particular play only had 4 guys in the box. They had 4 down linemen and 2 linebackers. The safety was a little bit deep. That's a perfect play. If they audibled off to it or if they had it called in the huddle, that is a perfect play for that situation.
Gore unable to gain control of the football. The handoff from Smith, and he pounces on it. Back at the 48, loss of 2.
Yeah, these guys got to give it. Let's see what happens here. Don't take anything for granted. Looks good right there. I don't know what happened. Had the inside hand up, didn't take it as a basket.
Looks like it hit his right arm and just bounced off his forearm. Stop doing wrist curls.
Now Walker shifting, 2nd and 12. No problems this time on the handoff to Gore, but there is a problem following the handoff as Quentin Coples was right there. And Gore loses another yard.
We've called his name a couple times today, Tony. Here's a guy whose snaps have been going down over the course of the first 3 weeks, but he's played well this afternoon.
Yeah, Calvin Pace did a nice job of taking out the 2 blockers, coming down the line of scrimmage, and you know, they're playing together. The defense is playing together a little bit better.
3rd down and 13. Smith out of the shotgun. They must get to the 36. Smith fires downfield for Manningham. It's off his right hand.
That's the 3rd time, Darryl. Go ahead. Kyle Wilson once again got beat, but lucked out. Is it right off the line of scrimmage?
Well, he's been late getting out of his turn each time. That's a little bit of a double move, a little bit of a stutter. He gets caught playing the man too much. And this is the third time we have seen a 49er receiver beyond Kyle Wilson in coverage.
Jeremy Curley back deep for the Jets. Andy Lee punting from his 40-yard line. A booming kick. Curley lets it go. And wow, it'll be down at the 1. What a terrific job by Terrell Brown staying out of the end zone. The Jets are backed up at their own 2-yard line. Darryl, they have only 111 yards of total offense today. They must drive 98 for a touchdown. On first down, coming out of the end zone, it's Sean Green.
Well, one of the things we talked about at the top, Mark Sanchez needed to come out this afternoon and be efficient, and he has not been able to get into any type of rhythm. Here's a fumble right there. You got to know that those 49ers are coming all over the place, and you know, kind of soft play that one a little bit more. Make sure you got that open lane, because they did a really nice job of pulling everybody in. They had Sean Green out in the flat for a big play on that screen pass, but it got swatted away.
Sanchez just 7 completions, 7 of 15. Powell in the backfield, 2nd and 7. Sanchez from the end zone. And that pass was intended for Powell. Sanchez took a hard hit from Aldon Smith.
He's under 50% incompletion percentage again this afternoon. That's the 3rd time in 4 games this season. And you know, you just can't have that. You've got to be more efficient at the quarterback spot. And I know this is their first year in Tony Sparano's system, and there's going to be some growing pains, but Mark Sanchez and his wide receivers have got to accelerate the learning curve and get on the same page and become more efficient in the passing game.
Got to look at Tebow on the sidelines. 3rd down and 7. Play clock at 1. Sanchez on 3rd down. He throws, and that pass is incomplete, intended for Powell. So the Jets go 3 and out, and their offense once again hearing the boos.
Well, and as Tony has talked during the course of this half here, you know, Mark Sanchez has had some time. Their offensive line is doing a good job giving him protection. They're just unable to find anybody down the field as a viable receiver.
Malone punting from his end zone. Ted Ginn Jr. takes it in Jets territory, and then he's forced back a couple of yards and is tackled by Mario Davis.
Bart Scott, you know, says he's not talking to media, but he talked to us. And, you know, just knowing Rex and Bart Scott and the way they're thinking defensively, this is not the situation that they want to be in. They want to be a dominant defense. Right now, they're not a dominant defense. But they're playing well enough, I feel, to go and still be in this game. Offensively, they have to get something going, the Jets. And, you know, I don't know. It's just frustrating right now, I know, for Rex and Bart Scott to be in this situation.
And a frustrating play there as Manningham able to break tackles, and he gains 12. Goose referring to Bart Scott's recent media boycott. Sat with us for about a half hour because Goose promised him a copy of his new book.
Yeah.
Well, that means that Tony actually referred to himself as media, which I've never heard him do before in the past.
He was talking to you guys. I referred to you.
Exactly.
You guys are the media guys. I'm not the media guy.
And by the way, the book will be available on audio. Tony has been working all weekend long on the narration.
Yes.
Smith to a wide open Delaney Walker for another 49ers first down to the Jets 10-yard line.
You talked about it, Darryl. Everyone, you know, talking about Vernon Davis, but Delaney Walker, that's your guy.
He's fun to watch. I mean,
He is.
the number of different things he can do and the flexibility that he creates with this offense. He's out in the slot to the left side. They're just a simple corner route. LaRon Landry's got to get a little bit of depth on that. He's playing that underneath route a little bit too tight. That gives Alex Smith the opportunity to get that over his head in the corner behind him.
Delaney Walker gains 25. From the Jets, 11. Inside handoff to the fullback, Miller. Bruce Miller down to the 6-yard line. He is the 7th different San Francisco 49er, Darryl, to carry the ball today.
This is a great play, though, because they get Brian Thomas completely pulled in and fooled on that play. You have Michael Crabtree coming in motion like they're going to wham the end of the line. You're going to crack the end of the line, and he sprints right to the outside, and they sneak it right inside to Bruce Miller.
They're not chanting Moose. They're chanting Bruce when Miller takes the handoffs for the Niners. 2nd down and 5. This is Gore up the middle. Frank Gore down inside the 2-yard line.
Alex Boone did a nice job of pulling. I mean, he is such a huge guy that he really doesn't even have to hit anybody. He just gets in the way, and Frank Gore cuts right off his backside and gains some nice yardage right there.
You want to see some huge guys, Tony. They just jogged onto the field right now. Got Leonard Davis coming on the field and Will Tukuafu. I mean, I don't even know what you call this.
I think I just felt the field tilt that way.
The 49ers send in their jumbo package. 3rd down and 1. It's Gore. Now, Gore can pick up a 1st down without reaching the end zone. It will depend on the spot.
Yeah, a little bit too much beef out there that Frank couldn't go and get over him. Watch Frank right here trying to get the Jets.
He bumped into 92, Will Tukuafu.
Yeah, the Jets do a nice job to penetrate.
I tell you, your boy Bart Scott, the guy you said hasn't lost a step, just came up and took on Will Tukuafu in the backfield, really jammed that whole play up.
So now on 4th and 1, Jim Harbaugh will leave his offense on the field, leading by 10. Smith hands it off to Gore on 4th and 1, and Frank Gore is in for a 49ers touchdown.
The same play that they ran on 3rd down, they come back and run it on 4th down, change up the blocking a little bit, good adjustment. You send your big defensive tackle who's in the backfield out wide on the safety. There's the kick out by Will Tukuafu.
Frank Gore sets it up also with giving a little hop to the outside and then just going, setting his feet and driving right through that line of scrimmage.
So the 49ers giving the Jets a taste of their own medicine with a ground and pound. Niners 154 yards on the ground. Akers, the extra point, under 3 minutes remaining, 3rd quarter. It is now 17-0 San Francisco. Frank Gore chatting with Randy Moss, taking a couple of elbows from Randy following his 46th career rushing touchdown, 3rd in 49ers franchise history. Is already their all-time leading rusher. San Francisco now leading the Jets 17-0. Joe McKnight, who we've seen on defense this afternoon. Moving over from the offensive side, and how about McKnight on special teams? Finally forced out of bounds as he crosses the 35-yard line. 42 on the return. Well, earlier this week, Rex Ryan went into the running backs meeting room and he told Joe McKnight, "You've been traded to the defense."
Yeah, unfortunately, Joe McKnight felt that meant they didn't have the confidence in him as a running back, but they feel that he's got very, very good ball skills. He could make the transition very easily, but this is the initial reaction from Joe McKnight, and they had to get in and build up that confidence a little bit. But now, Rex told us today, he goes, "You'll see him on the other side of the ball," and actually he's going to contribute in the game plan.
That's a compliment, man, because I think being a defensive back is extremely, extremely hard.
Sean Green out to the 39, gain of 3. Time for another game break. Here's Kurt.
Well, the Jets running game right now could use a little Cam Newton maybe. He scores on a 4-yard run. He's got 64 yards rushing for Carolina as they're trying to keep it close against the unbeaten Falcons. It's 24-21 in Atlanta late in the 3rd quarter. Kenny Moose and Goose.
All right, thanks, Kurt. Big day for Cam Newton. There at the Meadowlands, Tim Tebow and Mark Sanchez both on the field for the Jets. 2nd down and 7. Sanchez throws. It's Santonio Holmes. And Holmes with a couple of nice moves picks up a Jets 1st down out to the 47.
They just got to continue to build some positive plays here. I mean, this half, they opened the 1st half with a good drive and then had the turnover. But they just got to get some. They've got to give that defense a rest. Their defense was out too much in the first half, and they've been out a ton here in the third quarter.
From the 47, off the play fake to Green. Sanchez fires downfield for Santonio Holmes, and it's deflected away at the last instant by Deshaun Golson.
Tremendous play by Golston. Wow.
You know, we all think of Deshaun Golson as a real big hitter in that secondary, but he shows right here he's a heck of an athlete on the back end. Great timing, great hand-to-eye coordination right there to knock that ball away.
And he just gets a finger on that ball. Great timing. If he doesn't touch that, that's 7.
Golson, one of 9 49ers who represented the club in the Pro Bowl last season, more than any other NFL team. Sanchez on second down, complete to the tight end Cumberland. He breaks away from Patrick Willis and is down at the San Francisco 47, a gain of 6 for Cumberland.
It's a nice run after the catch by Jeff Cumberland there. You've got one of the best in the business at tackling with Patrick Willis coming behind you. Little sidestep and then down the field.
Under 1 minute remaining, third quarter. Jets trailing by 17. Sanchez just 9 of 20. Jets with only 130 yards of offense. Empty backfield, third down and 4. Sanchez steps up and then goes down. There is a flag. There's a penalty marker in the secondary after Sanchez was sacked at the 48-yard line.
Illegal use of the hands in the face, defense number 22. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Carlos Rogers.
There's Carlos Rogers, number 22, working in the slot. Looks like it might have been more shoulder pad. They're getting after Mark Sanchez.
Nice stun up front, man.
Yeah.
Ray McDonald did a nice job of penetrating, turning his shoulders.
7th San Francisco penalty. Tebow now in at quarterback. 1st and 10 for the Jets from the 42. Tebow on the keeper, and he is hit for a loss after he faked the handoff to Sean Green. It is Aldon Smith bringing down Tim Tebow for a loss of 2. As the third quarter comes to an end, 17-0 San Francisco. We begin the fourth quarter at the Meadowlands. Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa, 49ers with a 17-0 lead on the Jets. Mark Sanchez back in at quarterback on second down. Sanchez to the near side. Holmes made the catch.
He was not down.
He was not touched. And it's Carlos Rogers.
Unbelievable.
And Rogers will take it all the way for a San Francisco touchdown.
Oh. Santonio, the trainers for San Francisco are calling the Jets trainers over for Santonio Holmes. So an injury on, that's why he let go of the ball, went down, grabbed the knee. Gosh, eerily reminiscent of what happened to Darrelle Revis last week, a non-contact injury.
Now remember, a runner can declare himself down by falling to the ground or kneeling and making no effort to advance the ball. Then the play's over. But in this instance, it looks like Holmes gave the ball up due to the injury. Jets medical staff continues to chat with Santonio Holmes. Back in a moment. We welcome you back following the Carlos Rogers return of the Santonio Holmes fumble. A couple of things we mentioned, that a runner can declare himself down. Holmes was injured on the play. All scoring plays are reviewed.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is confirmed. It is a touchdown. The receiver caught the football, went to the ground, lost possession. Recovered by San Francisco legally.
All right, so Tony Corrente says it was recovered legally by San Francisco. Mike Pereira, what did you think?
Yeah, well, clearly it's a catch. I mean, there's so many things to think of. The new point of emphasis here of going to the ground, and if you don't immediately try to get up, then you can be considered down. The other aspect of it, flinging the ball forward from beyond the line of scrimmage, an intentional forward fumble by rule could be considered an illegal forward pass since it's beyond the line of scrimmage. So they had a lot to look at there.
Thanks, Mike. A lot to look at. Touchdown stands. Akers the extra point. Third career touchdown for Rodgers. It is now 24-0. 49ers on top. 49ers now lead 24-0. Jets have turned the ball over 4 times. 3 fumbles and 1 interception. And Jets also very concerned about the injury suffered by Santonio Holmes. They've already lost their top player on the defensive side, Darrelle Revis, as McKnight takes a knee. Well, Saturday, it's our first doubleheader of the season. Aaron Andrews, Eddie George, and Joey Harrington get you ready for kickoff with the Fox College Saturday pregame show. Then a Pac-12 showdown. Arizona takes on 18th-ranked Stanford, followed by a huge Big 12 matchup. 8th-ranked West Virginia, following a huge day on offense. Battles 11th-ranked Texas. Coverage of Fox College football begins Saturday at 2:30 Eastern, 11:30 a.m. Pacific. How about the West Virginia-Baylor game yesterday? 70-63. West Virginia with the victory. The highest scoring game ever in the Big 12.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable performances across the board in it.
Sore arms in that game after all those big plays.
2 300-yard wide receivers.
Geno Smith, 656 yards in the air and 8 touchdown passes. Sanchez with a pass short intended for Bilal Powell.
Just have not been able to establish that rhythm during the course of the afternoon. And, you know, let's credit the 49ers pass defense. You know, Mark Sanchez, we've talked about him needing to be more efficient. He has not had a lot of options with receivers down the field. And it will only get harder now with Santonio Holmes out.
Clyde Gates in, split to the left. Jets, of course, without Stephen Hill and Santonio Holmes. They're 2 starting wideouts on the depth chart. As Sanchez flings one complete to Curley at the 28, about 2 yards shy of a first.
Go back and look at 2 key plays here in this second half. First one, they've got a nice screen pass set up there. It's 10-0 at the time. They've put together a couple of first downs. That's their opening possession. That's the Patrick Willis interception. And here, the injury to Santonio Holmes. That ball comes loose. Carlos Rogers picks it up. And you're talking about 10-0 with momentum, maybe getting down and getting a field goal. And then it's 17-0, trying to fight your way back in. You've had a couple of first downs on that drive, and the tide turned very quickly.
3rd down and 2. Sanchez to Cumberland, but he is hit well behind the line of scrimmage back at the 25. Dante Whitner in on the tackle, a loss of 3. So the Jets go 3 and out, and we'll punt it away once again.
You know, you try to go and get the ball outside right here to your tight end, thinking he's going to go and turn and run. But this defense is so fast. Dante Whitner, his closing speed is amazing when you see down here on the field.
Fair catch is called for by Ginn. So the 49ers will take over. They lead the Jets by 24. Early 4th quarter at the Meadowlands. 49ers lead the Jets 24-0. Jets have turned the ball over 4 times today. The toss from Alex Smith to Kendall Hunter. And Hunter is out across the 40. Dives ahead to pick up a San Francisco first down.
And yes, that's Randy Moss, number 84, downfield with a block at the end of that run. And maybe not as much as they thought from a production standpoint this year, but everybody says, well, how great he's been for the young guys as a mentor and a leader in that wide receiver position room. It's a good job by Randy Moss.
It's a good slow block.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy blocking on the edge.
Not play last season. He coached middle schoolers in his hometown of Rand, West Virginia. 8 catches so far this season for Moss. Here's Gore down to the 47. Time for another game break. Kurt Menefee.
Well, New England was down 21-7 in the second half to Buffalo, but they rattled off touchdowns in back-to-back possessions, make it in 3 straight possessions. They just scored. Brady made it 21-all. It's now 27-21, pending the extra point. Kenny Moose and Goose.
All right, thanks, Kurt. Patriots at 1-2, a game under 500. Bills allowed 48 points here on kickoff weekend to the Jets, but they have won their last 2 games since. Second down and 8. Here is Gore. Up the middle, picks up a San Francisco first down.
I don't know if you just saw that, Darryl, but that offensive line just drove one of the defensive linemen 5 yards back. Oh my God, are they getting a surge? And that's Ellis. Oh, just gets double teamed, doesn't have his leverage. And listen, it happens to every defensive lineman, but they are firing off the ball, that offensive line for San Francisco.
It's the reverse right now, Tony, for like a defensive pass rusher when you're down big offensively and you have to throw. Now for the offensive line for San Francisco, they're just going to be coming off the ball to kill this clock.
Tony, it was the Pro Bowl left tackle Joe Staley on Kendrick Ellis. Here's Gore. 182 yards and counting for the 49ers on the ground today.
And that's the key point of that statement, Kenny, is and counting, because we've got over 11 minutes left here in this fourth quarter, and this is what you're going to see. You're going to see this physical San Francisco run game just downhill coming at you the rest of the way.
And eating up that clock right there, 10:58 left on it.
The San Francisco 49ers team that won 13 games a year ago. Went over New Orleans in the divisional round in an unbelievable game, unbelievable finish, and then the overtime loss to the Giants in the NFC Championship game at home. 49ers get the ball into the hands of Ted Ginn Jr. Missed the first 3 games with an ankle injury, and he is just shy, about a yard shy of the marker. 49ers added offensive weapons. We talked about Randy Moss, Mario Manningham. Brandon Jacobs came over from the Giants, hasn't played this season.
They drafted A.J. Jenkins, #1 overall. LaMichael James also brought in, so still waiting for the production from their top 2 picks.
Now on 3rd and 1, it's Gore. And Frank Gore has another 49ers first down.
Let's go back into the first half, and we talked about this with the addition of Colin Kaepernick into the lineup, and just everything that the 49ers were throwing at you. There's the end around to Mario Manningham. They get a big play out of that. Then you bring Alex Smith in, but you still run option. You get down in close, and then you bring Colin Kaepernick in. Now, I think a lot of this has to do, we've been trying to figure out why they were so diverse with their personnel and their formations in the first half. I really think that Greg Roman, the time that he spent in Baltimore with Rex Ryan, not only does he know him from a scheme standpoint, but from a mentality standpoint. And I think that was, something to give Rex something to think about, the rest of the football game. What you do to us as an offense, I'm going to do the same thing to you and your defense.
Toss to Hunter. And Hunter is finally brought down at the 22-yard line by David Harris.
Kendall Hunter is good for Frank Gore, and they want to have Frank Gore fresh late in the season, and you also get great production out of him. And Tony, you really probably have to understand who's in the backfield because they're pretty different in the running style.
I'll tell you what, the 1-2 punch, you got Frank Gore, who's just a downhill mauler, who can also cut, and then you got Kendall Hunter, who does a great job. His vision is one thing that impresses me. He sees his offensive line, he sees the blocks, he knows how to set them up, and he also gets vertical. Both of these guys know when to turn it up and when to drive their legs vertical to get the maximum amount of yards.
49ers took too much time, but they called timeout.
Timeout. San Francisco. This is their first.
Called timeout before the play clock wound all the way down. 8.5 remaining, fourth quarter. America's Game of the Week coming up following the Jets and the 49ers. Many of you will see the Saints and the Packers, others the Redskins and the Bucks. Who could forget the last Green Bay New Orleans meeting? The opening game last season won by the Packers 42-34. 49ers lead this one 24-0. Smith looking for Crabtree. Cromartie on the coverage.
Nice route right here, trying to get a little pick. Antonio Cromartie does a great job recognizing, seeing that route, what San Francisco was trying to do. They were trying to do a little bit of a rub there to get Michael Crabtree to come free on that route. Played very well by Antonio Cromartie.
Tell you what, with Darrelle Revis, I think the secondary has done a pretty good job, Daryl, today.
Third down and 1 on the slant. Cromartie with the coverage on Crabtree once again.
You know, Tony, not only the secondary, but really the whole defense.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's a problem. You look at the scoreboard right now, and it's 24-0. I think it lays on the other side of the ball. We touched on it at the top. You know, defensively, hey, they've got to get more pressure. They've done that. They've got a couple of sacks here today. You know, Antonio Cromartie, Kyle Wilson, you know, they haven't had a big play over the top. He's been there, but, you know, there's not a lot of damage done there. But I think the big challenge now is if Santonio Holmes is lost for an extended period of time, and we're not sure yet, now all that emphasis falls to the offense. They've got to get some things fixed.
There's Akers, who has missed twice today. Akers from 40. It is good. So David Akers now 2 for 4, extending the San Francisco lead. Fox Sports is your home for the UFC, beginning on Friday with prelims live on Fuel TV, leading into the UFC on Fox. On FX, as Travis Brown takes on Antonio Bigfoot Silva in the main event. Then Saturday, December 8th, the UFC returns to broadcast television, the UFC on Fox 5, where Benson Henderson will put his lightweight championship on the line against Nate Diaz. Fox Sports is the place to turn for hard-hitting UFC action all year long. 49ers lead 27-0 as this kickoff sails through the end zone. At this point, if you're the Jets, why not insert Tim Tebow for the entire possession? First of all, to see what he can do, and second of all, to give the Jets some kind of spark.
Well, you know, they've had him available the whole season. When we talked to Tony Sparano, there were reasons why each week he decided not to feature Tim Tebow more during the course of the game. But I agree, Kenny, right now, you know, what do you have to lose? It's 27-0. You know, let's see if the things that you've been working on since he arrived here in New York have merit on game day.
Jets start from the 20 with Sanchez taking the snap out of the shotgun. And Sanchez is down back at the 13-yard line. That is the 4th sack for the 49ers, the 3rd for Aldon Smith today. But there is a flag back in the secondary.
A situational pass rusher last season.
Holding. Defense. Number 25. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Terrell Brown is called for the hold. You know, you mentioned Tony Sparano, and he told us, well, week 1, we didn't really have to use the Tebow package. Jets scored 48 against the Bills. Week 2 in Pittsburgh, he said we had a couple of long drives, never were really able to get to it. But at this point, down by 27 with 8 minutes remaining, what do you have to lose?
Absolutely nothing.
Sanchez over the middle, and a big hit is laid by Navarro Bowman on Patrick Turner.
I'll tell you, the biggest thing you risk, though, is the fact that your starting quarterback is 12 for 24 for under 100 yards, and if he does come in and he leads a scoring drive, you've just ignited the fuel and the fire to a quarterback controversy here with the New York Jets. Which, when you bring him in, I think that's something you've got to strike that balance. You've got to get him in and allow him to be productive and find a role for him in the offense, but you're trying to avoid that scenario.
Well, Tim Tebow has been on the back pages ever since he signed with the Jets. So you would have to think at some point if the Jets continue these struggles, there will be a, quote, quarterback controversy. But down 27-0, I don't understand why they wouldn't use Tebow here.
Well, on the other side, too, Darryl, everyone knows that the Jets are going to be passing the ball, so the pressure's going to be on. They're going to have more coverage. You're putting Mark Sanchez in a situation where he's not going to look any better to the fans also.
Good point.
You know? I mean, everybody, all the defenders out there right now, you're going to get the best pass rush. They're not playing the run at all, you know, and the coverage is going to be there. So it's not a win-win situation for them at all. It's a lose-lose.
3rd down and 10. Sanchez in trouble. Justin Smith with the pressure. If you're not going to use Tebow down 27 in the 4th quarter, I don't know when you would use him. And remember last year in so many games for the Denver Broncos, he excelled in the 4th quarter of games.
Yeah, this is his time of the game where, you know, we've had him where he looked dismal for 3 quarters, but at this stage of the game, all of a sudden everything starts to go positive. So
Malone punting from his own 15-yard line. It is blocked. So the Jets' problems continue. It's Larry Grant who blocks the Robert Malone punt. And Tavares Gooden on the recovery. So it's been defense, offense, and now special teams for the Jets.
you got to finish the game right now. You cannot fall asleep, and Jeff Cumberland is getting ready to release to go downfield on coverage. And Larry Grant had other ideas. He's coming in to block that kick.
Robert Malone signed by the Jets just prior to the opening game against Buffalo.
He blocked that with his body, not even his hands. That's how good of a jump he got off the line of scrimmage.
There's Larry Grant, all smiles. So the 49ers take over on the Jets' 4-yard line, leading 27-0. Hunter. And we've talked all afternoon about the 49ers running game, and they've hit the 200-yard mark on the ground, and what they did with Colin Kaepernick in the first quarter, getting the hands into the ball of so many players. 11 different 49ers have touched the ball on offense.
They challenge you the way that defenses will challenge offenses, and I think that was probably one of the reasons that Greg Roman showed all that early in this game, was just to let Coach Pettine and Coach Ryan know that, listen, you know, we're ready to go. We've got a big offensive plan this week, and we can throw a lot of things at you.
Second and goal, it's Hunter again. And you've been talking about the job that Greg Roman has done, the offensive coordinator. He was with Jim Harbaugh at Stanford, and he has a lot of respect for both Rex Ryan and Mike Pettine. They worked together in Baltimore back in 2007 when they were both on Brian Billick's staff. And then the next year in 2008, Rex was the defensive coordinator for the Ravens under Jim Harbaugh's brother John.
I think it gives you tremendous insight when you're around somebody as a person to the mentality and how they approach the game, and I think that's what Greg Roman learned while he was spending time with Rex Ryan.
Third and goal, jumbo package in, Smith to the end zone, and that pass was intended for Will Tukuafu, and there is a flag. So big number 92, the intended receiver. The backup nose tackle who we've seen on offense today.
Number 57. This penalty being assessed half of this until the goal. Automatic first down.
That's on Bart Scott.
Bart Scott's coming from right here. Spins Will Tukuafu around. That's almost a very athletic catch for a big defensive tackle.
Well, you know, those defensive tackles are very athletic, Darryl. And all they can do is spin and catch the ball and do a lot of different things.
Goose, you would have caught that one.
No question. Maybe one-handed pulled that sucker right in. I wish.
Tukuafu remains in the game as the fullback. First and goal. Here is Hunter, and Kendall Hunter is in for a 49ers touchdown. First rushing touchdown of the season for Kendall Hunter, third of his career. Second year back out of Oklahoma State. Well, I asked you in the open, Darrell, if the 49ers could bounce back from their loss last week to Minnesota. They've never lost back-to-back games under Jim Harbaugh. A definitive yes.
Very calm, quiet demeanor from his team when we sat down with them yesterday, and they knew what happened in the game last week. They knew a lot of the things that went wrong were within their control, and there was no sense of panic. There was no sense of worry. I mean, Justin Smith told us, listen, we just got to go out and we got to play our style of football. You know, we did not do that last week. Navarro Bowman, you know, we hold ourselves more accountable than our coaches do. So I was very impressed with the response of all the guys that we talked to, and you kind of had a feeling that it could be a type of game like we've seen this afternoon.
And Justin Smith also told us, you know, you can lose every once in a while. It does happen. May have been good for us. You regroup, you play the next game. 49ers spent the week in Youngstown, ate a lot of ice cream at Handel's, as Aaron Andrews told us about on the pregame show. And 49ers will head home with a record of 3-1 on Justin Smith's birthday. And they will play their next 3 games at home against the Bills, the Giants, and the Seahawks. For the Jets, this the first of 3 straight at home. Houston will visit next week, and then Indianapolis. Just over 6 minutes remaining. 49ers in a rout, leading the Jets 34-0. Jets committed 4 turnovers, also had a punt blocked, and Akers has some more trouble as the ball blows off the tee.
Well, we've really watched San Francisco break it open here in the second half. Frank Gore, you know, the emotional leader of the offense, and then the injury to Santonio Holmes with the fumble picked up by Carlos Rogers, escorted by his defense down the field. And after a block punt by Larry Grant on that last drive, it's Kendall Hunter's turn in the running game.
It was 10-0 at the half. All San Francisco here in the second half, as the Jets will start from their own 20. And once again, it is Mark Sanchez leading the Jets offense out onto the field.
And you continue to ponder why, Kenny.
I'm pondering.
They've got to get in sync offensively. 12 for 27, 98 yards. You're under 50% completion percentage. The quarterbacks in the NFL, the guys who are winning on a consistent basis, are up in the 60s, mid-60s now. You know, we've seen quarterbacks, you know, flirting with the 70% completion percentage in the course of a season. Mark Sanchez has a long way to go to be in that area. And when we went through that scoring highlight package, you saw the injury to Santonio Holmes. We don't have a further update on that right now, just that it is a knee injury and he's out for the rest of the game. And we just hope that it's not similar to what happened last weekend to Darrelle Revis, because, you know, sometimes you see a non-contact injury and you don't think it's going to be that bad, but we saw last week how bad they can be with Darrelle Revis tearing his ACL.
Second down and 7. Sanchez passes high, intended for Patrick Turner.
Tony, you brought up a point in commercial, you know, the fact that last week the Jets lost the best player on their team, and now this week,
well, the best player on defense with Revis, and now, you know, maybe their best player on offense with Santonio Holmes. It's you know, it's tough. It's not easy, you know, especially when you get a guy who's a leader, you know, like Revis. And I think the defense did a pretty good job of bouncing back from that and rallying the troops. You know, I thought they played a pretty good game defensively. You know, they had some tough turnovers today. They had their back against the wall, but I don't think they played terribly. But offensively, I mean, I can't really even see a sparkle somewhere. Like in the passing game, the running game, I don't see, what this team is going to do. They have to regroup. They have to figure out what they can do and try to go and get it done. But right now, it's grim.
Yeah, we're week 4 right now. The first quarter of the season is over, and I really don't know what the identity of the New York Jets is right now offensively.
Malone back to punt once again. Taken out to 30 by Ted Ginn Jr. And he brings it out to midfield. The ball pops loose. Tebow down there at the bottom of the pile. 49ers have recovered with 4:28 remaining. So we've been talking about the Jets and all their struggles. They will drop to 2-2 without Revis, without Holmes, but still 12 games remaining. They can't give up on this season. And then from a 49ers standpoint, they go home with a victory following the loss last week.
Yeah, and I think it was good for them to come back out and play the way that we got accustomed to watching the 49ers play. After the first 2 weeks, I think everybody said
Number 92.
Everybody would feel that they were the most complete team in the NFL, and I thought they did a nice job of not panicking after the loss last week, coming back out, understanding what happened. And, the Jets are going to have to go into that same mindset. They've lost some key players to the team. There are some big challenges, a lot of adversity to overcome, but there's a lot of football left to be played this year. They have got to rally around each other and not go into a funk right now.
Yeah, I'll tell you what this does is it gives some of the backup guys, the guys on the practice squad, opportunity. I mean, here it is, man. You have opportunity. If you're a receiver, if you're a defensive back, wherever you might play, there's opportunities out there. Now go show what you can do, and you got an opportunity to go and maybe make the starting lineup. Who knows?
As you saw, Colin Kaepernick in at quarterback. Anthony Dixon on that last carry, the 12th 49er touched the ball on offense today. It's Dixon again as we head west to Kurt Menefee.
Well, just a reminder that most of your audience will go to Lambeau Field, where the Packer fans have made their feelings known about that call in the Monday night game that really brought the regular refs back. Speaking of the regular refs, Aaron Rodgers asking for just a little bit of help maybe today. They take on the Saints. Saints looking for their first win. Packers looking to bounce back. It's America's game of the week, and it's next when you guys are done. Kenny Moose and Goose.
Something happened on Monday night in Seattle.
Everybody keeps talking about it.
Hard to believe it was only 6 days ago. Kaepernick hands it off to Dixon with 3 minutes remaining. And the 49ers leading 34-0. Kyle Wilson stepping in for the injured Darrelle Revis. Has been thrown at 6 times, committed a penalty on the game's first play. Jets 4 turnovers. They've had a punt blocked. Sanchez under 50% once again, and the Niners have rushed for over 200 yards as they lead by 34. The worst loss for the Jets in their 4 seasons under Rex Ryan. They lost 45-3 to the Patriots back in December of 2010, a 42-point loss. But then they came back and beat New England in the postseason. This would be their second worst loss under Rex. And the score holds as the clock winds down to the 2-minute warning. Jets, last time they were shut out, Halloween 2010, 9-0 here by the Green Bay Packers. All 49ers. We'll be back. Offensive woes in the preseason when the Jets did not score a touchdown with either Sanchez or Tebow at quarterback. Then they score 48 points in their home opener against Buffalo. Shut out by the 49ers today. 3rd down and 4. Kaepernick on the roll. Nobody realizes he still has the ball. And Colin Kaepernick slides shy of the goal line. Could have scored, does not want to rub it in. He was a baseball player, drafted by the Chicago Cubs. He knows how to slide.
What a great fake. I mean, there is nobody out there. Pretty classy move right there by Colin Kaepernick. This game's been over for a while.
Colin Kaepernick, who as a fourth grader wrote a paper in school, he said, "I will play for the 49ers or the Packers." His wish came true. Second round pick last year. 49ers in the victory formation. Last time a game was played in this stadium, we saw what happened with the Giants in the victory formation. None of that today, as Jim Harbaugh's 49ers raised their record to 3-1. And for Rex Ryan and the Jets, a lot of questions without Darrelle Revis. Santonio Holmes knocked out of this game with a knee injury, and an offense that was shut out and turned the ball over 4 times.
I think the bigger question now for the Jets and their fans might not be how is the defense going to be without Darrelle Revis moving forward, but how will this offense be without Santonio Holmes moving forward, if that is the case?
Third worst shutout loss at home suffered by the Jets in their history, as the 49ers win it 34-0. Thanks to producer Barry Landis, director Brian Lilly, associate directors Eric Mandy and Joe Williams, broadcast associate Paul Marmero. For Daryl Johnston and Tony Siragusa, Kenny Albert saying so long.